when your mother ran into your sister's room, what did your father do? Did he go after her?
Yes.
And did he have the shotgun with him?
Yes.
I am not sorry for something I didn't do, and I am not sorry for the things I did do.
What's going on, people? Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Today I want to talk about the story of a Florida man who attempted to take the lives of two of his children, and which one survived and taken the life of their mother. This story is coming out of Riverview, Florida, so if y'all in that area, shouts out to you and be safe. March 18th, 2018. Then, 29-year-old Rodney O'Neal committed such a heinous act, not only shocking his community, but the entire world. On that day, at 11:48 p.m., the police received a call from a nearby neighbor of Rodney O'Neal and the mother of his two children, Kieta Barron, to report from what she heard from her own home was DV between the couple.
911, what is your emergency?
Yes, my neighbor is beating up his girlfriend next door.
What's going on there?
I don't know. I heard the neighbor yelling, help me. Help me.
What's going on
I jumped
there?
up. I don't know. I think he's beating her next door. We just heard some noise.
Okay.
But before we get too far into the case, let's talk about Rodney O'Neal's background. Shortly after high school, Rodney attempted to join the United States Marines, but could not pass the initial aptitude exam. With no real plan B, Rodney worked whatever job he could, having a few run-ins with the law, with all non-violent crimes, including drug possession and driving without a license. Rodney experienced a lot of ups and downs in his life. Eventually, him and his then girlfriend, Kieta Barron, also known as Kiki, had two children together, Rondavea, a baby girl, the oldest being born with special needs, diagnosed with cerebral palsy, nonverbal, and autism, and a baby boy taking the same name as his father, actually being Rodney O'Neal IV. But later down the line, the couple had unreconcilable differences and decided to split ways. After leaving the house stuck between a straight narrow path and the streets in 2017, Rodney was a victim of a drive-by shooting in which he almost lost his life. If he was the intended target or not was unknown. After an intense surgery, Rodney had no safe place to go to recover. None of his friends or family would accept him. Rodney having no options and being the father of Kenyatta's children, she accepted him back into her home until he recovered. Rodney was always known to be religious, taking the Nation of Islam everywhere he went, but after nearly losing his life, it took a turn for the worse. Still staying at the home of the mother of his children, Kieta Barron, Rodney's behavior started to become more irregular. He became irrational, hot-tempered, starting arguments, and even appeared to be delusional at times. March 18, 2018, shortly after police operators received a call about a possible DV incident occurring, they shortly received a call from Kieta Barron.
What's your emergency?
I'm shot. Help me. I'm shot. Help me, please. Jesus, help me. I'm shot.
Okay. What's the address of the emergency, ma'am? What's the address of your
I'm
emergency?
shot. Help me, please.
What's your address? What's your address, ma'am?
Shot me. Help me, please. He shot me.
Where?
Allah, what's that?
Ma'am, hello? Ma'am.
During Kenyatta's call with the police operators, Rodney can be heard in the background repeatedly yelling Allah Akbar. For those unfamiliar, that phrase means God is the most great. It's typically used by Muslims in prayer. Shortly after her call, Rodney made a call to the police himself.
911, what is your emergency?
Hey, I just been attacked by some fucking white demons inside, and she tried to fucking kill me, and
What's the
I
address?
just killed her stupid ass. Huh?
What's the address of the emergency? Try to attack you?
Yes. She did. She tried to kill me.
After those calls, the police shortly arrived to Kenyatta's house to find 8-year-old Rodney IV running out of a burning house with multiple stab wounds in his abdomen. He safely made it to police custody. He was treated for his wounds and later testified against his father in court. Kenyatta was first seen laying in the yard with multiple gunshot wounds and blunt force trauma to the head, which was reported to be caused by a shotgun. Rodney was standing above her with an object in his hand, repeatedly yelling the phrase, "You don't understand, she killed me." He was immediately tased by police after not complying with demands to lie on the ground. 9-year-old special needs Rondavea was found inside the burning home by first responders with blunt force trauma to the head, which was reported to be caused by an axe. Sadly, she did not make it. While still at the scene, in the back of a squad car, Rodney referred to his victims as the devil and the devil's kids.
You take any medication or anything like that, or no? No? Alright. You been drinking anything, any kind of alcohol late Sunday, going into early Monday morning?
No, sir.
Smoke any kind of drugs, anything like that? Any kind of weed, cocaine, any narcotics, anything? No. You know where you're at right now? All right, you're at the District 4 office. This is the office in College Avenue and like the Ruskin Waimama area. That's just close to where the incident scene actually took place. So we want to talk to you. You know who the President of the United States is right now?
Well, yeah, Donald Trump, man.
Right. Do you know who the president was before him?
President, shit, I don't know. I think it was Barack Obama,
Yeah,
right?
that's correct. That's correct.
Shit.
Did you vote for Trump?
Did I vote for Trump?
Yeah.
Nah.
No? Okay.
I didn't vote for Obama either.
Okay. Well, I told you, I introduced myself to you at the scene, and also Detective Sands, and I told you that we were going to bring you over here. You said you understood, and that was fine. We want to ask you some questions, but before we ask you any questions, I want to read to you your Miranda warnings just so you know what your rights are before we talk to you, okay? You ever been read your Miranda warnings before? You ever been arrested before or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been arrested, but I ain't never been.
Never been read your rights before?
Oh, that what you call
You have the
it?
right to remain silent, you know, your Miranda warnings or your Miranda rights.
Yeah.
You've never been read those before? Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read. It's the same thing.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you've been read your rights, Miranda rights, it's the same thing. So I just wanted you to make sure that you understand what they are before we ask you any questions. And then if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer those for you as well, okay? All right. All right, this is a consent to be interviewed form. Now, when's the last level of education you completed? Was it high school, middle school, college?
12th.
12th grade? Did you graduate? Did you complete it? Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Again, there's about 6 lines that I have to read to you. If at any time you don't understand what I'm saying, stop me, and I'll be more than happy to reread them for you, okay? And it says, I further understand that, number 1, I have the right to remain silent and can invoke this right at any time during questioning. Do you understand that? Okay.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Do what? I'm sorry?
I don't want to say nothing else until I have a lawyer or something like that.
Okay, that's fine. You're entitled to your right. So what we're going to do is I'm not going to ask you anything. You're entitled to your rights. If at any time you choose to talk to us, you're more than welcome to do that. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back to the room that you were. But if there's anything that you need, just knock on the door and let us know. Okay?
After being evaluated 13 times, Ronnie's initial defense argued, stated by his mother and brother, along with being actually assaulted as a child and being shot 1 year prior to the murders. Ronnie was under the influence of extreme emotional disturbance, but that had no effect on the case as Ronnie decided to represent himself.
This is the defendant, Ronnie O'Neill, shortly after his arrest on the morning of March 19th. Looking like he's been working in a butcher shop, covered with the blood of the mother of his children and the blood of his children.
He showed you a fraudulent recording where they allege that I beat Kenyatta Barron to death. I ain't running from nothing. They didn't call Khalil Brown to tell you that. I did. And you have to ask yourself why that is. Because I want you to know the actual facts. I did kill Kenyatta Barron. But I want you to tell it like it is if you're going to tell it.
In the eye and tell you, this is the worst case ever in my life, and I have seen some horrors, but this is it, and I'm going to mete out the punishment that I think this case deserves. All right, so with that, On count 1, Mr. O'Neill, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison with a minimum mandatory of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count 2, I will adjudicate you guilty, and adjudicate you guilty on count 1 as well. Count 2, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole, consecutive to count 1. On count 3, I'm going to sentence you on the attempted murder, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to life in prison, running consecutive to counts 2 and consecutive to count 1. On count 4, on the arson, first-degree dwelling, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 30 years Florida State Prison to run consecutive to counts 1, 2, and 3. On count 5, aggravated child abuse, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 30 years in the Florida State Prison to run consecutive to counts 1 through 4. On count 6, I'm going to adjudicate you guilty to aggravated child abuse, sentence you to 30 years in prison to run consecutive to counts 1 through 5. And on count 7, resisting arrest without violence, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served. Credit for time served is 1,224 days. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. Thank you. We're concluded.
My condolences goes out to Miss Barron's family, especially her son who survived such a tragedy. If you ever do see this video, shouts out to you because you strong. This young man was eventually adopted by one of the police officers who initially went to visit him in the hospital. Shouts out to you, Officer Blair. But that's the end of the story. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. Be safe. I'll catch y'all in the next one.